This is not a question. I hope you don't take this as a question of politics. It's really a question of law, and for that matter, constitution. Because si Manny Pacquiao nung isang beses na umalma siya was regarding that petition among PDP-Laban members to recruit and to convince President Duterte to consider running for vice president. We would think that there is some discomfort there on the part of Manny Pacquiao on the very idea. But as a party, where do you stand on the constitutionality of having a sitting president run as vice president? Should that be allowed?
Sir, we've asked our legal committee to study the legalities of that, and we have yet to receive a concrete answer from our legal committee. I will get back to you pag may response na po sila. But as a party, sir, if our party chairman, President Duterte, wants, if he wishes to run as vice president, we will support him all the way. Kasi po, he's a party mate. Second, he is our party chairman. But with regards to some of our party mates going around, namumuliti sila, having convening meetings, having them sign a resolution to urge our president to run as vice president, doon po kami against. Kasi po, marami kami mga kapartido na nagreklamo na, sir, nagugutom na po yung mga tao dito. Wala pang mga bakuna, pero bababa po yung ibang mga opisyalis para magpasay ng resolution. So it has really left a bad taste in the mouth to most of our partners. Kaya, if you remember,
I suppose pero Sir Ron, I think it also says a lot that the party has asked its legal committee to look into the constitutionality of whether the president can run as vice president.
Yes, sir, because we always want to be on the legal side naman po. But politically, if PRRD, our chairman, wants to run, we will support him all the way.
But this is why I wanted to ask it on the level of law and constitution. Beyond President Duterte, let's not take him in this scenario. But as you said, PDP-Laban has its roots in the anti-dictatorship movement. And therefore, PDP-Laban also was invested in a constitution that wanted to safeguard against any means that can perpetuate a person in power beyond what our political system should deem sustainable and wise. Hindi po ba? Don't you agree with some of the legal thinking that creating a precedent where President Duterte runs as vice president essentially opens the door for somebody to run for president and then vice president and then president and then vice president ad nauseum and basically perpetuate him or herself as president for life? I mean, let's face it, it's the same thing that Putin did in Russia. Di ba? Parang, ikaw muna yung president, ako muna yung prime minister, pagkatapos pa, but everybody knew who's running Russia. So that's why I ask. You said PDP-Laban proudly stands by its roots for in the fight to regain democracy and rule of law. So let's take President Duterte out of the question, out of the picture. Don't you think constitutionally it is a dangerous proposition and precedent to allow any sitting president to run as vice president?
Okay, sir, first, I wouldn't want to preempt the findings of our legal committee, but just to answer your question from a personal standpoint and upon consultation with our party mates, yes, we are careful. We are very careful in approaching that. In fact, before, ang understanding nga namin is that after a president finishes 6-year term, wala na po siyang, meaning he or she would not run anymore. But nagkaroon po ng opportunity with our former president that they can run again, speaking of President Erap and President Arroyo. Kaya nabuksan po yung doors, yan. So kami, we would just like to stick to the legalities of it, kung ano po magiging decision ng Supreme Court. I'm sure our lawyers would file something again na akit po yan sa Supreme Court. But going back to your question, sir, yes, the PDP-Laban is strongly against any form of dictatorship. But hanggat wala pa pong legal decision yung Supreme Court dito, and if allowed naman po ng batas, and if bobotohin naman po ng tao, we see nothing wrong with it.
But if I recall correctly, yung kay ERAP, the president that was set, and his argument was, this is not consecutive terms. My term was interrupted. No? So therefore, it is not a consecutive re-election. That is different from a president seeking an immediate re-election via the vice presidency. It's not the same case. But the other question I have is, there seems to be a conflict in what you're saying. You're saying we want to be very legal, we want to be careful about this precisely because this has to do with the Constitution and the future of our country. And then on the other hand, have a very casual line that, pero kung gusto ni PRRD, di hayaan namin siya. I mean, do you want to be careful about it, or will you just go by what President Duterte takes upon his own person? Yesterday, Edsel Lagman was here, Congressman Edsel Lagman, and he said, really, the only thing I will acknowledge standing in the way of President Duterte running for vice president, whether or not it's constitutional, is just the president's own personal respect for the Constitution. So what is it? Are you going to be careful about the Constitution, or, as you said, will you just go by whatever President Duterte wants to do?
Well, first, again, I divided my answers into two. First is a bit legally. We would want to wait first for ano pong findings aming legal committee dito because, again, wala naman po atang previous situation like this. Second, sir, politically, of course, President Duterte should be only assuming, should he decide to run as vice president or for any other position, we will support him because he's our party chairman politically. But if may decision po ang ating kataas-taasan na korte na hindi siya pwede, then pwede, sir, tumakbo.